Radio Raheem with Don Charles. I had to just get the camera rolling because as you sat down, you mentioned how nice and decadent everything here is in Saudi. And I chuckled because you said it's too nice.
Most people will say, yeah, listen, I'm not, I do appreciate the hospitality, what's laid on for us. But for a fighting environment, it's too nice for me. For the fighter, we need it to be rough, we need it, that roughness, you take that. It's almost like, for me to be staying somewhere like this, I need to deserve it. I need to earn it first. That's my mentality. I need to go and get the victory first. Then if you say you got a couple of nights in such a hotel, then I'll say, okay, cool, I'll do it. But before, no. In the future, I'll probably have to look at this. I'm being serious. In the future, I'll go and get a very basic environment for us to stay.
It kind of reminds me of the Marvin Hagler quote, it's hard to get up and run 5 miles off of silk sheets.
Correct, he's right.
One of the things that you talk about is that kind of grit, that mentality, which is something that Daniel Dubois has proven, I think, in the last fight, but has always been in question from critics. So this camp, was that part of the training that you put in, putting him in more difficult conditions just to get that mindset ready to be hardened?
Correct. Being uncomfortable, making him uncomfortable outside the ring and as hard as you can make it. So, yeah, that is the approach, always is the approach.
Hrgovic, obviously is a stiff competition. It's anything but an easy fight. How do you see the matchup stylistically between the two?
Oh, the styles will gel. It'll make a good spectacle for the audience. It's gonna be a very explosive fight, and the fighter is ready. We're ready.
We know what hangs in the balance, right? The potential for an IBF title kind of looms in the horizon. Can you help us understand what the situation is? Because I've heard, Usyk can't be stripped because of this suspension, or at least until that's done. Will the IBF become available to the winner of this fight? Where does it sit now?
To be quite honest, I kind of hear and I don't hear, because belt or no belt, there's a man in front of us in the name of Filip Hrgovic. That is our belt, that man. Whether there's a belt thrown in or not, we need to go and do the same job and beat Hrgovic.
Any good trainer says we when he talks about a fighter. And you this is your third fight with Dubois in the span of a year, no?
Yeah, literally. Coincidentally, June will be the 1 year exactly since we joined forces together. And remarkably, what we've done in 1 year, we fought Usyk in Poland, as you know. And what happened. I'm not going to regurgitate. And which brings us to the Miller fight. And then we're now here. That's quite consistency is key. 3 fights inside, 3 top high-level fight. I mean, the chap we beat in Poland, we didn't get the decision, is now the undisputed world champion. So that tells you how far Daniel's come.
It also puts a spotlight on you as a trainer. I mean, obviously him going from one trainer to the next, they're going to compare McGuigan and yourself and who's doing the best job with him. Billy Nelson made some news here on SecondsOut just yesterday with criticism of you, saying that Dubois hasn't improved and that Hrgovic is going to mentally dismantle him, which, again, is a bit of a criticism down to the trainer. How do you respond to this?
No comment. Because action speaks louder than words. I'm not here to say whether I'm disappointed in Billy Nelson because he's known me from when I first came into the industry with Derek Chisora. So I'm very disappointed. But it's his opinion. So he can hold his opinion. Like I said, no comment. My work should speak for itself. And I just concentrate, work harder, and I don't have to prove nothing to Mr. Nelson.
A 3-fight arc for a trainer, at least in my opinion, is really the proper amount of time to estimate what a trainer can influence with a fighter. I don't think like 1 fight in, unless there's just an incredible bit of, gelling, and that you can really get everything out of a fighter as you begin the relationship. So this probably is the fight that will best exemplify what you've been able to instill in him. What would you like us to see, if maybe for the first time from Dubois come Saturday night?
Just building layers. The first fight we got given was against Oleksandr Usyk, who's now, like I said, the undisputed heavyweight world champion. And then our second fight against Miller. These are like top level fights we've been given. There was no run up. There was no but we've had to learn together, grow together on the job. So you're gonna see another layer of improvement in this next fight he's having with Hrgovic. Like I said, I'm going to let the action speaks for itself rather than me sitting here telling you this is what we're doing. No, on Saturday night we don't have long to wait. The audience will see.
Now, those of us who are into the somewhat soap opera of boxing and know the arc of everybody's career, you've been around a long time. And again, on the horizon, all right, let's say Dubois is successful Saturday night and this IBF title looms. Well, we know Joshua's gunning for that title, that you have a long history with Joshua, probably, some personal connections outside of what this boxing game is. Does that pose a challenge for you, even emotionally, if you have to then be in the corner of a fighter to defeat a man that you have a personal relationship with in Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm quite an emotional guy, but it is business at the end of the day. So I'm sure Joshua will feel the same if that were to materialize. But like I said, our concentration is purely for the 1st of June, this Saturday. And I believe we're destined, Daniel is destined to reach the top. And to do so, we have to overcome Mr. Hrgovic on Saturday.
If you do that on Saturday, then Dubois definitely is in that upper echelon of elite heavyweights that's in the mix to be grabbing at titles. And potentially, it's not a crazy thought that within a year or two's time, he could be challenging for undisputed. But looking at that top echelon of heavyweights, a lot will be determined this Saturday night as to whose name belongs in that above the line conversation. And you could potentially call it the main event of Saturday night would be a Wilder Zhang, both coming off losses, both I think unexpected losses to some extent. How do you see that matchup going? Because I always love to talk to you as an analyst, especially when the heavyweights come around, one of the best in the business to discuss it.
Well, when it comes to they're fighting on the same show as us, it would be, when I say wrong of me, because my concentration has been purely on ours. I know they're fighting, and may the best man win on Saturday against Zhang and Wilder. No, seriously, because my concentration has been totally on us.
You got to hold your card close. If I know you got an opinion, but all right, fair enough. That's coming Saturday, so we won't look forward. But you got to help me looking backward. We were only a week out of undisputed. I would say a lot of people were shocked by the outcome, and some people even disagreed with the cards. I'm wondering how you saw the fight last Saturday.
It was a very close contested contest. And I narrowly scored it for Usyk, obviously, with the 10-8 round helps. And it was a very close fight, and it could have gone either way. But I think the right man won at the end of the day, the right result in the sense I didn't back Usyk to win, I backed Fury to win. But full credit to Usyk, and he grinded it out, took his licks, and came back and did what he had to do to win.
I know you've had your issues with referee performance in the Usyk fight, and there's been some debate about the referee's performance in this fight, really not to Usyk's advantage. What did you make of that 9th round knockdown, potential stoppage, saved by the bell? How do you call it?
The rules are not really that clear. They need to revisit the rules on all aspects, including what happened to us in Poland, to what happened last Saturday against Fury. They really need to revisit what are the actual rules, because some referees would have waved that fight off. Nobody would have complained, but it didn't. And had Fury gone ahead and won that fight, then Usyk's camp would have absolutely kicked off, because the fight should have been stopped in around 9. So there you have it. They need to really revisit the rule book and see what is right and what is wrong.
As you said, you backed Fury going into the fight. Now, having seen him against Ngannou, having seen him lose to Usyk, where do you place him in the top 3 heavyweights?
Top 3 heavyweight currently?
Yeah.
Well, it's still well up there. It's his first loss, and he's still up there. I'm not going to put him below 5 top heavyweights in the world currently. No, he's still up there, top 3, 100%.
Well, I know top 3, but I'm really trying to get...
second, Usyk first, Fury second.
So still, even with Joshua kind of on a good run, you still have Fury above him as in the top 3.
Well, most definitely, because he's only just had one loss against a guy who beat Joshua twice.
And so, with that said, because, Fury is a man of money, and everybody still probably wants to see the biggest British heavyweight fight in some time, which would be Joshua Fury. If that is a place that they turn, with the situation being what it is now, how do you see that fight going?
50-50 fight right now. Whoever brings their game on the day will be victorious. Yeah, that's how I see it now.
And if I could turn just to last week, I mean, I know I said last Saturday, but really, I guess day before yesterday is real last Saturday. And we had another contentious fight. And on the cards, people are kind of disagreeing as to what, should have been the scorecards. But, Taylor and Catterall, fought to cards. What did you make of that fight?
Again, another closely contested fight. And yeah, the cards, you got to bring these judges into a classroom and re-educate them how to score fights, because I don't know what some of them are watching sometimes. It was a very close fight, but I still had Catterall as the winner. But, probably maximum by 2 rounds, I'd give it. But some of the scores, you got to question, what are they watching?
Fortunately, on this fight, we'll have jabber punch stats, but those are not official cards or judging. No. But you'll have an opportunity at least to see what happened and know that it is accurate. But my question then is, if this fight goes to cards, like we saw with Miller, we saw that it could be a war of attrition. How do you prepare, knowing that anything can happen on the cards, and make sure that Dubois is in a position to win if it is close?
Well, based on how we've practiced, I don't think we're going to be needing the judges or going to the scorecards.
All right. Well, all right. I know you're not going to give me the game plan, but what?
That concludes the questions. You don't need to be Einstein to work that out. It will not go to the scorecard. We're going to be the judge and the jury. How about that?
Have you added something to the arsenal that makes the knockout more likely for Dubois this time out?
We have to. It's my duty, my obligation to devise a game plan to be able to. And Daniel's knockout ratio percentage speaks for itself. So you've only got to look at his record and you see, his knockout ratio is very high.
Radio Raheem with Don Charles. Always a pleasure to talk to you about everything, certainly the heavyweight division. Good luck Saturday night. Boy, I hope we get all 5 knockouts. That's what we want, because, then we get double points.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, I know you're on the Queensberry side, but can you be objective, just like who's got the best team, Queensberry or Matchroom right now?
Before you finish the sentence.
All right. Radio Raheem with Don Charles.